Hey everybody, thanks for stopping by. It's Stone Rain Productions, but you can call me SRP if you'd like. Today I want to introduce you to a new format that I've been working on that I like to call the garbage masher draft format. There's going to be other versions of this, but right now we're going to focus on draft and sealed. So what is garbage masher? It's a way to play really terrible decks with your friends and also to make your friends play really terrible decks. And so let's just jump in and go over everything. So the first rule, you're going to do a normal draft or sealed. So everybody's going to decide at the start if they want to do draft or if they want to do sealed. If you do draft, everybody's going to take a seeding number, which is going to come into play later on. It's important to note. So seat 1, seat 2, seat 3, and so on until all the seats are taken. For this, I like to use 8 players just as an example, and I'll go over why later. So everybody gets their number, they take a seat, they're given their packs. If it's draft, you follow the same rules that you would normally have for draft. You pick a card. Well, I'm going to back up here. Same thing, same rules apply with leaders. You take one leader that you want to keep, and then you pass the others aside, just like you would normally do in a draft, which is a little bit of a weird process, but it is what it is. The idea while you're doing this, though, is you want to make the worst possible deck that you can. And this basically is not going to be the deck that you play. It's going to be a deck that somebody else plays, one of your friends or somebody else that's there. If it's sealed, you're going to just select from among your cards and make a deck. And bullet point 2 here, as I said before, you want to create the worst possible deck from your card pool. Again, this is going to get passed to a friend or somebody else that's at the event, and they're going to play it. So there are some rules for this because you can't just do, for example, like a neutral base and something like Revan, because nobody would really be able to play, as well as the number of cards that are in the aspects for the leader and the base. So I do have some rules as far as altering the deck. They're very minor, but they do exist. So bullet point 3 here, half the cards must be playable and no neutral bases. So what that means is for the leader that you've selected for this deck and the base, half the cards have to be playable. In a draft or sealed environment, that's going to be 15 cards at the very least. The other 15 cards can be out of aspect, one aspect or both, it doesn't matter. They can both be out of aspect, and that's how the format's going to go here. From here, I've already stated this, but the draft and sealed decks must be at least 30 cards. For this, I want to stick to 30 cards just as a general rule so things don't kind of get wacky and people are building these really big decks. We want to stick to the minimums here. And that's what the first bullet point is supposed to intend, is that for the draft or sealed, you're going to be playing with a 30 card deck. As also mentioned here previously, half the cards must be playable with the leader or base combination that you have. The other half can be unplayable. And what I mean by unplayable is the aspects don't have to match. So aspect penalties would be applied to those cards. Of note, 2 points are given to each player per 10 cards of the selected format. In this case, the draft/sealed is 30 cards for a sealed or draft event, 50 cards for a premier/eternal event. These points can be used to upgrade your decks later. And that's something that we're going to go over in just a moment. But just keep that in mind. So in this case, 2 points per 10 cards is going to give us a total of 6 points that a player is going to have access to for this draft/sealed event. Whoever has seat 1, after all the decks are completed, whether that's sealed or draft, whoever has seat 1 is going to pick, let me just word it the way that it is here. Whoever has seat 1 picks a deck created by another player. Players cannot select their own deck. That would be a little silly because obviously you'd make something good that you want to pick for yourself and you would just crush everybody from there. So it has to be somebody else's deck. Nobody can have a deck that they've created themselves. And this is a good a good rule here is that you want to have an even number of players to make sure that everybody has a different deck. All right, so now each player picks a deck until all decks are taken. So we're going to start with the person in position 1. Then position 2 is going to pick a deck, again, not their own. And then one thing that's very important to note, all the leftover cards from your draft or your sealed are going to go aside. They're going to be left in a communal pool. So this is where the upgrades are going to come into play. So since players have all taken a deck, in reverse order, players may spend points to change cards in their deck with the leftover cards that we just mentioned here. For example, if there are 8 players, whoever has seat number 8 picks the first card to upgrade in their deck. That means they're going to go through their deck. They're going to look at it. They're probably going to have a laugh because I would. They're going to find one card that they really want to change. And they're going to put that card face down. They're going to take a look at the communal pool, all the cards that are left over from this event, and pick a card that they want to replace it with. Now, you can't just pick any card. This is where the points come into play. To replace a card with a rare or mythic in the leftover card pool, it's going to cost 3 points to do so. So you can take out any one of your cards, replace it, spend 3 points, grab your mythic or rare that's in the leftover pool of available cards, and replace that card with your mythic or rare. That card that you're replacing is now going to go into the pool of available cards. So you're taking one out, putting one in, and then you're taking the card that you replaced and put it back into the communal pool. 2 points can be used to replace a card with an uncommon in the leftover card pool. So again, once it gets back to your turn, you may replace one card in your deck for an uncommon that's in the communal pool that's left. And lastly, 1 point can be used to replace a card with a common in the leftover card pool. So you may take one of the cards that you really just don't want to play with, remove it from your deck, look through the communal pool, see what's left. If it's a common, you subtract one of your points from your available points. One thing to note here, no more than 5 cards total can be replaced. This does not include the base. Whatever the base that's picked is going to be set in this version of the garbage masher. So draft sealed, whatever base they select, you're going to go with. Again, no neutral bases here, regardless of what's in there. Draft neutral bases can't be selected regardless. All right, so the first player may replace a card on their deck with a card from the leftover card pool. Once that player makes their choice, the next player in order may replace a card. So we're going in reverse order for the card pool. So whoever has seat 8 is going to be able to replace the first card. Once that person has selected a card and replaced one and moved their replacement card from their deck to the card pool, now the person in seat 7 is going to have the option to replace a card. Again, you're spending the points from your available pool. You want to make sure you keep track of that. Players select one card at a time for replacements, then move the card they are removing from their deck to the leftover pool, as we had discussed here. Again, you want to make sure that you keep track of the points that you're spending. And that's basically it. So this deck, this format is designed to have fun. So it's just meant to be silly. Make really terrible decks, force your friends or other people to play them. It's just meant to be silly and weird, so have fun with it. One of the other cool things about this is that you can choose what you want to play for. So before you sit down and start doing this, you can decide if you want to do the card pool, if you want to break up the card pool and make that the prize. If you want to set aside packs, everybody buys a pack, for example, they could set that aside and structure the pricing however you want. Or if players want to ante cards. Or if it's a store running this, they can select cards that they want to set as the prize. It's all based on how you want to run it for the prizing. But that's it. You build a terrible deck, you force somebody else to play it. The most changes that they can make is 5. Half the deck must be in the aspects of your leader and base combo. No neutral bases, regardless. We can't have that in this version, and that's everything. So, with that in mind, I would love to hear any feedback that you guys may have, what you think about the format. If there's any changes that you'd like to suggest, by all means, please feel free to leave them in the comments. And lastly, I am a new Star Wars Unlimited content creator. If you could, please subscribe and like the video, because it really helps me quite a bit. Helps other people see the videos as well too. I plan to do quite a bit more silly stuff moving forward. I really like having fun and being weird, so that's kind of what I do best. Otherwise, thanks so much for stopping by. I really appreciate you checking out the video. Just want to say may the force be with you. Be well, my friends. Take care.